Well, here we are, 2 years on from my first big Audax, and it's actually been 2 years since I've really done a big ride because, well, everybody knows what's happened in the last 2 years. Audax is, some of them have been going ahead last year, but this one I'm doing, hopefully next weekend, the Dean, second time, it was cancelled during the pandemic several times, so we're back. Yeah, not much time for training, seriously underprepared. Look, got a different bike. Last Audax did on my aero road bike, trying to give myself as many aero gains as possible to compensate for my lack of training. This time got the gravel bike out, got the Condor, trying out a few new things, got the Apodura bags on. Yeah, pretty much so. I mean, like, it's a tried and tested rig for me now because I rode this one all last season, mainly on gravel events and stuff. Super good, and it's just such a good bike on the road as well. I mean, forget, like, I don't know, it's just great. So yeah, we're going to give this one a go. We're riding out today towards Henley over the Chilterns. Got this beautiful road. Might even try and find a bit of off-road. Who knows? We're just kind of following our nose today just to see whether or not we've still got the legs and whether or not 300 is even possible next weekend. So yeah, a little stretch of legs. I had a really bad back recently, which just sort of seeing how I get on with that. Having a bit of physio, but it's not so far kind of fixed it. It'll take a few weeks. So this is the problem, isn't it? Sitting down at a desk all day. It's not good. So yeah, stretching the legs, stretching the back. Hopefully not going to get too wet. It's just drizzling a little bit. See, it's pretty grey sky, and it's a Strada Bianchi today as well. Matt said, "Oh yeah, go out and find some great, dusty tracks, but they're probably all going to be muddy today." So yeah, the dirt version of that today. Right, let's get back on the road. Underdressed for today. Well, I'll take that into account next weekend if I get out. But it's just like following the Chiltern cycleway, which is really nice, through the Well, it feels weirdly reminiscent of the last time I did this. I'm setting off, it's just daylight, as you can see. It's a lot colder than I was expecting it to be. I've already got cold fingers. There's a great thing you see when you're out doing these sorts of rides, which is the sort of the line of lights, and it's really comforting. When you get later on and it's getting dark, there's something really nice about just seeing a little flashing red light ahead. Just out on the line. They'll be much further spread out by tonight, and I might even be lucky to see one. But yeah, it's really nice. It's always so good, isn't it? Like on Freeland, sun is just coming up. It definitely tells me we're a few weeks later this year, because I remember last time I was up in the Cotswolds when the sun came up. I remember thinking how nice it was because it was bloody freezing. Anyways, gradually warming up. I've only got 2 cold fingers now. It's weird, isn't it, how sort of one side of you feels the cold more than the other. Well, I do anyway. But on my right side is gradually warming up. Not the only one that thinks it's cold today, that's for sure. Pretty nice, huh? That sun is up. I remember this bit from the previous one I did, and it was really drizzly. I remember saying as I came up this hill, the mizzle, and I could like, the sky was brown and the fields are brown. So, such a difference the weather makes, eh? Look at that. It's going to be a cracking day until the rain arrives. Feels like I should record whilst it's so nice and sunny. We've just gone past Lee Field. Ooh, look at that. Look at dewy winter's kind of feel. You can see the road's still pretty wet. Pretty nice and smooth though. Lots of dead frogs on the road. Shows you how wet it's been. We've just been through Shipton under Wychwood. I've sort of in this like lovely sort of Cotswoldy sort of stuff here. Look at this, nice pad, isn't it? Just coming through the lovely village of Kingham, across this little brook. Isn't that nice? Really beautiful place. First mechanicals going on. Not sure if they're with us or not. Just done the first climb. The guy said 1 of 15. Wow. Sort of 11-12% coming up to Stowe on the Wold. And phew, yeah. Felt pretty hard. Oh my god. That's the first control done at 44.5 kilometres. Getting busy in Stowe Saturday morning. Yeah, it's amazing. I just didn't stop too long because you immediately start to cool down. Very disappointed that Cotswold Baguettes was not open, and what I thought was going to be a epic Scotch egg moment didn't happen. Hey ho. But hazards, look at that pad. It's pretty swish, isn't it? Yeah, it's a bit whiffy out here though. Manure. We're coming through Upper Swell. This says it is climb 3 of 15. 4 kilometres. Average of 4%. Doesn't sound too bad, is it? 4 kilometres sounds quite a long way. Yeah, you thunder down the hill out of Stowe on the Wold. Then you have to go all the way back up again. That's the way it hills. Absolutely freezing. I had 2 hats on. I was really warm when I stopped, so I took one off. Now how cold he is. There's like a feeling of dampness in the air. Doesn't fill me with joy. Because it just feels like, well, you know how like you're outside in the garden sometimes and you feel like the rain coming, sort of feel the dampness and the coolness. Yeah, there's lovely snowdrops there, just on the side. But yeah, I can feel the rain are coming. Look at that, going back down the road. It's really wet actually. It's a really grippy bit of muddy road. I remember this bit from last time. It's a long sort of slow drag. 1 kilometre to go to get to the top of this one. Climb 4 of 15. Yeah, but look at that. It's a really beautiful day. It's cold, damp, but yeah, lovely. Just look at that. Isn't it nice? Sort of coming across the top of the Cotswolds towards, well, ultimately towards Cheltenham. You see it's now all sorts of rural, rolling farmland, and do you know what? It's almost gravel. It's not quite. I need to change gear. Give me a sec. But yeah, just passed the guy back on the road with having a mechanical flat tyre, and I thought, you know, my bike's probably a bit overbuilt for this ride today. I've got 38 C tyres on, gravel tyres, although they're pretty smooth running. But you know, my logic is I'm running them tubeless. These roads out here are really pretty shoddy, and I thought I was really lucky last time when I did it on my road bike not to get a puncture, to be honest, I think. So, tubeless, Hutchinson overrides, keeping everything cross for them. There's Peach, which way's he going? Change gear again, but look, this is that stunning view out across towards Wales. You've got, well, in the background somewhere the Malverns, you've got Black Mountains as well and all that kind of stuff. And what we're coming up to, not far from here, is one of the biggest hills on the ride. We'll change gear again. I must remember to put my GoPro on my other hand. I've been riding with this thing for about 3 years and never once have I remembered. So yeah, a couple of big hills going up to Cheltenham. God, I can't even remember what it's called. There's a show. Anyway, this is a biggie. And down the other side, they've got another one right up out the back of Cheltenham. I haven't quite got my GoPro man in the right position to get this, so we might not get all of it. But that's the hill that's coming up in a bit, or at least in that direction anyway. You're going into a real big headwind as well. This is a sign of things to come. The wind. Some great old buildings. This is Winchcombe. We were a little bit before Cheltenham. Just went past Sudley Castle, which if I'd had a free hand I would have got a shot for you. But beautiful little village to Winchcombe. But you can see the flags there. I'm going into a headwind, and slightly worried that we're going to be going into this headwind all the way down the Welsh borders. That could be pretty tough. When I did the previous Audax, I did a little video after 5 tips for your first Audax kind of thing, and to be honest, I haven't veered too far away from my own advice a few years back. I have changed a few things, and maybe some of you to think about. Footwear, I've gone on to SBDs, back to SBDs, just kind of a little bit more comfortable and yeah, a little bit nicer for just kind of riding. So, you know, if you're a roadie, maybe give that a thought. You can see I'm still wearing my Delhi Gabba type top. It's not actually a Gabba, but Perfetto is what they call it these days. It's a really good all-round type of layer for this kind of ride. I suppose the only thing I would say is I've got my gilet on top today and it's quite sweaty because it's just, it's not that breathable anyway, and this extra layer is just sort of knocking it out. Another guy on the side of the road with a puncture. So Cleve Hill, that was the hill, wasn't it? That I was trying to remember the name of. We're on it, or coming up to it anyway. So the Garmin's not telling me I'm on it yet, but I will be soon. And yeah, I mean, here's another good tip for you. Just sit in the saddle and patiently twiddle, I think, on these longer rides. Definitely just kind of saves your legs a little bit. So yeah, I think slow and steady is the way to ride these long rides for sure. And it's really about, I think, just keeping moving if you want to do sort of a fairly reasonable average speed and not faffing around too much. Doesn't really seem to make too much difference how fast you actually go up and down the hills. So slow and steady actually, and just kind of don't hang around too long when you get to the checkpoints. There's a sign, Cleve Hill. I think it's funny that it only tells you this when you're almost at the top, but I suppose actually the top is over there where the golf course is. Yeah, that's a biggie, but the good news is it's 38.7 kilometres until the next climb according to this. I don't believe it, but a little bit of a rest. I suppose another tip is, and the reason I've got my orange Rafa gilet on is because I think you can't have too much visibility on these kind of rides, because Audaxes are great because you know, guys hunt out some really cool routes, and there's like this, you know, not hardly any traffic and it's really quiet. But when you go through, eventually on a long ride, you have to go through somewhere busy, and just come through Cheltenham, and you know, Saturday morning everybody's hooning to the shops, and you'll see Audax guys with loads of lights on and reflectives and stuff, and they know that's experience, that is. And I tend to wear black cycling gear a lot of times, so on a ride like this, even though my gilet's a bit hot and sweaty, I think it's worth it because it just gives you that little bit of a standout. So yeah, lots of lights as well, because let's face it, you're going to be in the middle of nowhere at 10 o'clock at night later on, and if you're doing a ride of this kind of length, 300 kilometres or more, the last thing you want is lights packing up on you, which happens, batteries giving up. You know, you'll see plenty of guys with 3 or 4 lights on the back of their bike, and there's a good reason for that. And even me today, I've got extra. So last time I ran my exposure light off the battery because it was quite a lot of riding in the dark. This time I've got 2 lights in the front and I've got a charger, so it should be good. And see what I mean? Just occasionally, like here, on a little bit of, it's not dual carriageway, but almost, you just have to sort of cross a bit of busy road to get across. So we crossed the M5 earlier. I see some guys actually up there have obviously gone a slightly shorter route than me. Didn't realise, so they've just popped out from another lane. So, but yeah, it's just experience, you know. And look, you see over there in the background, the hills. Maybe they're even mountains actually, I don't know how. I sort of lose lost track of my distances. I'm guessing this is the River Severn. I don't know. Looks like it could be. Anyway, 85k. Feeling okay. You can see we're following a bit of a cycle route here towards Newham. We're not that far away, probably 5 miles. You can hear the wind. We're into like a stiff headwind now, so we got the best part of 80 kilometers, maybe more, into the wind after Newham. So I'm hoping when we're in the Forest of Dean, when we're in the trees, it's not going to be too exposed, but who knows, hey? Definitely feeling like I could do a little stop. I think I'm pretty tired. The lambs are out. Must be spring. See, we're in the background, polytunnel land, greenhouse land. I think you know you're in the garden, the country when you get here, because it's growing stuff. I think it's fruit mainly. Everywhere, yeah, and not far from Newham, I hope. It's starting to feel a bit peckish. So that's yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Like the timing of these stops every 50k is just spot on, really. It's just what you need, hopefully. I mean, as much as anything else, you know, I could keep going, of course, but you sort of stretch your legs, stretch your shoulders, you know, if you're going to be crouched over your bike for 300k, you do need to stand up and kind of move around a bit. So yeah, looking forward to it. It's a beautiful day, absolutely stunning at the moment. Bit of a wind, you can see the flags blowing, but not too bad. I suppose if you want an idea about how much things have changed in the last couple of years, both of the stops that have been on this Audax for years, I guess, the Good News Cafe, the second one, been closed. I mean, the Good News Cafe is permanently closed. A real shame, because it was so good. So everyone's just kind of sitting around on the street and just wondering what to do. There are stretches of the bit out of Newham that are a real ball ache, really not fun. I don't know why, maybe it's because you just stopped, your legs are sluggish. Anyway, you start getting to the top of the Forest of Dean, it gets really, really, really beautiful. I'll give you a spin around in a minute. And it's a mixture of lots of long, just continual ups and downs. So it's not easy. It's certainly not easy when you've got a massive headwind like we've got today as well. So we're heading pretty much due south. I think it's a southeasterly. So we're going to have the wind on the nose for most of this next 100k. Yeah, not loving it, but I mean it's bright and breezy, as you can hear. It's completely unclear whether or not you're in Wales or England when you're down here. Is the Forest of Dean in Wales or England? I think it must be England, right? But it sure looks pretty Welsh. There's Welsh flags as well around a bit, and you can see the sheep everywhere. So that's another bit of Welshness. Anyway, we've got a climb starting, says the Garmin. It says it's 1.26 kilometres. It's absolutely idyllic. I remember this is one of the most memorable bits from my first go at this ride, because you just hear, you're in a slight gully and all of the bird song just kind of echoes around, sort of amplifies. It's really nice. It is a long old hill though. What's really cool is the birds like calling across the valley. You can hear one and then you hear the other. I've just seen a couple of bird watchers, so there's obviously some interesting stuff up there. They certainly sound nice. Look at this, it's so nice. It really is. Quite a few trees come down though. It's still 2.7 kilometres to the top. 5%. It just kind of ticks along between kind of 5 and 10. But it goes on for 3 or 4 kilometres, I'm guessing. I should have paid more attention at the beginning of it. I was feeling alright back there. I remember this hill though. So here's another first Audax tip. So my tip, it's definitely in the mind. We're only about 130 odd K in, I think. I don't actually know, 131. So, I mean, we've got shed loads of this ride to go. And this is the sort of point where last time I thought, there's no way I'm going to get to the end of this ride. I'm feeling completely cooked because I've done almost 1900 metres of climbing in that 131. So it's quite a lot for my little legs. Yeah, so I think my feeling from last time is that you're going to hit the wall a few times on a ride like this. You just got to keep telling yourself the legs keep turning. They will just keep turning. They may be going a bit slower. Just keep turning. Ignore your average speed. It really means nothing, especially when you're going through bits like this bit, which is just relentlessly up and down. And there's actually quite a lot of up, because I recall it says after here we've got about 20k until the next climb, which I think reflects it kind of sort of goes down quite a bit into Chepstow. Can't quite remember how far in Chepstow is. It's a fair way from here, I think. Anyway, that's my tip. Mind over matter. This is the bit where you just get a glimpse of the Severn Estuary, and I think the bridge, I just caught a glimpse of the top of it sticking up over the hill. So I mean, it's like some of those like morale lifting points, and I think that's the thing about what I was saying. Yeah, I think that's the thing about what I was saying. So you get these points where like you're trudging through, so it's like some housing estate or something, and up a hill, and you're thinking, oh my god, you know, why am I doing this? My legs are not working. I'm not sure I can make it. And then you pop out over the top of that hill, and your Garmin goes, climb complete, and you go, yay! And then you see the River Severn, and you think, well, once I'm over the river, I'm out of Wales, I'm on the way back. It just feels like I don't know, just gives you a bit of a lift. 135 kilometres though. I mean, we've got absolutely tons left to go. So, don't get ahead of myself. I remember last time thinking as I was coming through this really difficult bit of Forest of Dean, I was thinking I'm going to be getting on a train at Chepstow, I reckon. Still could happen, I tell you. Yeah, there's the 7. You get Offers Dyke, which I think I might leave for another day. Here is a roll down to Chepstow from memory. Here we are. A cheeky pavement manoeuvre. Nice, isn't it? There's the castle. Nice pub on the front there when it's not so cold. Okay, well, we've just done Chepstow, and to be honest, if you do the Dean, I think the main reason you're doing it is to do the next bit, which is cycle across the Severn Bridge, which is just like a super cool thing to do on the bike. It's pretty windy, so it's going to be pretty wild up there, I reckon. Okay, here we go, folks. Holy moly, so windy. It's a real, I don't know if it's just like the wind, the incline, my legs. Blimey, it's really hard work. This is cycling out to the middle of the bridge. Woo! Check that out though. Hear it rattling. It's so, I mean, it's that windy. The whole thing is like vibrating. I really hope this wind is not going to be on the nose like this all the way back. It's going to be brutal if it is. Woo! This is officially it. Welcome to England. Catch me in a quiet moment. I can see the Somerset Monument, I think, in the distance on the next hill. It's a beast of a hill. I remember I very nearly didn't get it up on it on my bike last time. I've probably got the gearing for this time, but I'm not sure if I've got the legs. Really wasted. Like, you know, stuff takes it out of you, doesn't it? Little things all together add up together. So I just got all the guys coming past me. The climb is coming up, so I'm just going to keep it short. But it's not a tip, this is a question for your first Audax. Just been overtaken by these guys. They've overtaken me quite a few times, and they're generally cycling a fair bit faster than me. So I think they must be having nice long little coffee breaks or something, and fully recharging their batteries. So there's a question. Better to short refueling, or better to sit down and stretch your legs? Anyway, maybe these guys just have better legs. It wouldn't be at all surprising, because my legs feel like they're jelly today. But anyway, they've gone past me again, off up the hill. Maybe I'll see them again, maybe I won't. So I talk a bit in the video about whether or not it's better to kind of take longer breaks and really kind of recharge and rest up a bit, or whether or not it's just like short breaks and keep moving. And I kind of thought before that short breaks is good. And I think that could be the case unless there's bigger groups and they're taking longer. So actually what I found towards the end of the ride was waiting up with the group and going off with the group was massively beneficial, because there was a real headwind blowing, and riding in the group meant you could shelter out the wind a bit more, you could take it in turns on the front, you could save a huge amount of energy. And that on a 300k ride is massive. You know, if you're going to be out by yourself into the headwind for 300k, you're going to really feel it. And I was probably certainly for the kind of first 100, 150 riding a lot by myself because people were really spread out. And towards the back end of the ride, I found myself more in a group, and I stayed with the group, and I definitely stopped more. But, you know, our average speed when we were actually moving was much higher for much less effort expended. So, yeah, think about that on a long ride. Ride with a group. It makes complete sense, right? And save your energy, and it will help you massively towards the end of the ride when you're like running on empty. So that was 20%. Coming up there. I sure did feel like it. Holy hell. Hey. So that's it, we've done the 20% big boy. That's the Somerset Monument. Now down to Malmesbury for maybe a bit of cup of coffee if it's anywhere open, hopefully. Phew. So we've done Malmesbury. I reckon we're a bit behind when I did it the other time. I can't quite figure that out because, well, I think I've stopped for a bit less this time, but it's hard to know. Maybe there's not much in it. I mean, I think one thing for sure, although it doesn't kind of win in comfort terms, I think my Specialized Venge Aero road bike probably is shifting along quite a bit faster than the gravel bike. But obviously you never know really what the difference is, because you never ride the same sorts of routes. Well, I don't anyway, but if I was guessing, I reckon I'm about 10% slower. I mean, the other factor is I've got this bloody awful cough. That is definitely slowing me down. Yeah, I think this is a tip. I mean, for a little bit of extra weight, not a lot, I could have a few different like layering options probably. Like, you know, when I was standing around just then, I was like, oh, it's a bit cold. I could have put like a packable jacket in. Something like that, you know, something just to chuck on. I haven't got a bag really to stuff it into, but I could have done. I could have put a slightly bigger aperture or a frame bag on. I've got loads of options, so yeah, that would be a good tip. I think because you are standing around a bit and then you're getting warm and you're starting out cold, you know, I think it was kind of probably 4 or 5 degrees maybe this morning, and now it is 8.2 degrees, so it's starting to dip down again. Starting to feel my fingers getting a little bit colder again. You know, I could have even like thrown another pair of gloves in, like a slightly warmer pair, so I had like one for the day and one for when it's getting darker. Stuff like that, you know, probably quite a good move. So yeah, bring a few different garments, that's my other tip. Wow, you can see it's dark-ish. I I get this hill, it's 12%. Just gonna do this before I get completely blown up. This is the one with the white horse, I can't remember what it's called. And I think after this one, I think there's only one really big hill, but I can't really remember, to be honest. I hope so. This one's an absolute bugger. This point, solid 12% for a kilometre, I say. I don't know if you can see that. 11%. It's absolutely brutal. Pretty much back. We've come down the cycle path, the A40 this time. I don't think I needed a scenic route. 300 and it's going to be 310, 11k maybe by the time we get there. Man alive. Well, we finished the Dean 110.8. Almost back to the car park at the petrol station. Very glamorous. Too late for the KFC, sadly. I was really fancying a bargain bucket, or whatever they call them. Chicken pieces. Anyways. Reflections on the Dean to follow. That was pretty much 230k of misery into that bloody awful headwind, or felt like 150 of them. Anyway, I think safe to say, I think we earned our tailwind, as the saying goes. Thankfully, the gods were blowing behind us for some of the way back, and even better than that, I found a nice bunch of guys to draft along with. That was very nice too. You hear this bloody wind though, still blowing. Woo! You won't be able to see me now, I guess, because it's not dark. But anyway, we'll have to decide if the Dean is ever to be repeated.